You're listening to Born Optimistic. I'm sitting here with Davy Lyons, Wexford, born and bred but based in Barcelona. Davy, thanks a million for being here.
Thank you.
Davy, where do you sit on the optimism spectrum?
I think something inside me, or some sort of faith or belief in something, that something will always turn up. I don't know if that's optimism, but I heard Francis Bacon, the painter, said that he was optimistic about nothing, and I kind of agree with that.
I never heard that quote before. Can you elaborate? Optimistic about nothing.
Yeah, as in, there's no reason to be optimistic, but you'll be optimistic anyway, I think. That's how I take it. That's my view.
And what do you think instilled this belief in you? Is this how you always felt, or is this a belief that's evolved through the years?
I guess it's both. I think that was in me anyway, but you endure certain things and you come through them, and then that makes that stronger or weaker, depending on the person. But
you've only recently become a musician, is that correct?
Yeah, in the last... It's only been what I've done solely for the past 2.5 years.
So you would have picked up a guitar like many years prior to that?
I learned the guitar when I was in university, and I played in secret. I sang first in my bedroom as a teenager.
Why did you keep it secret?
Because it was my thing. I mean, I sang for other people as well, but there was a few years where I was just listening to the double disc of Luke Kelly and listening to Christy Moore live at the Point and learning those songs word for word, and I playing them over and over and over again and teaching myself how to sing. And then going on to the guitar, other types of music, but yeah. And then a few years after that, I suddenly sang for the first time at a family gathering, and people were shocked.
I'd say they were.
Because it hadn't been my interest when I was younger. I wanted to be a footballer. And then music replaced the crushing reality that I wasn't going to play in the Premier League.
That happens to a lot of people around the age of 10. What age were you when you realised?
I was late. I hung in there like, I guess 16 or 17.
And were you nifty on the pitch?
I was good enough for it to be better than the average boy's dream of, making it as a footballer. And I played for, academies and one of the best in my county or whatever, but I was never near enough to be a professional, no. But, you dream.
So was it only when you gave up on the soccer dream that this idea of teaching yourself how to sing started, or was there some overlap? Or I'm just trying to figure out what might have prompted it.
Well, it seems like that's the exact time, yeah. Because I was obsessed with football, and then I became obsessed with music.
And what triggered your obsession with music?
I guess it was probably there deeper than I realised all the while, because my father, not a musician, but he sang, and it was very much ingrained in us that that's how the family gatherings were, the classic Irish party, and it was important, and respect for the singer was important, and lyrics were important, and everybody having their moment was important, regardless of quality.
But you would have spent years going to family gatherings, not having a party piece, being passed over when it came to having a party piece. Yeah. And then you did, how did you manage that transition? Or what, paint the scene?
Though I was shy and was doing it in secret, I wanted to perform for people. And I do remember that first time that I sang. It was in my cousin's 21st birthday party. And I remember thinking, okay, I'm going to sing tonight. And being really nervous at the party, arriving at that moment in the night where people are done with talking and they'll want to sing, and thinking, okay, I'm going to do it. I remember going to the toilet actually and just standing there thinking, right, I'm going to do this now.
And did you know what you were going to do? Had you figured out in advance what your first public song was going to be?
I sang Black is the Colour and then Raglan Road.
And how did your family react? What were their faces like?
There was just silence in the room for quite a few seconds, yeah. And it felt good, to be honest.
Did you feel like you'd made the right decision?
Well, I felt good in the act and then also the response as well, yeah.
How did that, or what was the process in terms of music then becoming your thing, or the thing?
But it didn't happen that quickly, because at that point I was in university and I was I played on my own a lot, but didn't become the main part of my life. It's only years later, and I started busking a bit, and traveling around Europe, and I busked a bit. Then it became the most important thing.
What were you studying in university?
I studied law.
And was that a passion, or was that just tick a box on the CEO form?
That was, I'm 17. I know I'm going to get a certain amount of points. I have to do something. Yeah, I wouldn't say it was a passion. The reason I didn't pursue it was I couldn't see myself doing that for 7 seconds.
So did you ever have a job after college? Did you do anything?
I did, yeah. Well, I had a job as a legal researcher, which was very well paid. And then I spent a year as with just admin sort of work in a semi-state body called the Family Support Agency. And after that, I finally decided I'd never work in an office again.
Why?
It was dull, and I couldn't do it. I mean, there was nice people there, but no, it wasn't for me.
Because choosing a career in music, it definitely isn't a reach for financial security.
No, that was the most money. That was like quite a few years ago, but that was the most money I've ever had. I didn't really like what it did to me as well. I became interested in things I didn't have an interest in.
Like what?
I don't know, even looking at clothes, or going into a shop on my lunch break and thinking I wanted this thing when really I didn't. Like, I didn't really buy much, but I saw how it affected the mind, having all that money, and I didn't like it.
Like, how does that work? How does it turn into wanting to buy things?
I don't know. I just suddenly had this money, and then there are things that are available to you that weren't before, and though you mightn't have a real interest, you possibly convince yourself that you do. But the money was good to me because I lived off it for many years, and I went travelling, and I worked on farms for almost 2 years, and that's when I played music really. I was still a little bit shy at that point, but I spent a year living in Tuscany, working on a vineyard in a castle run by an English family. And the woman who made the wine, called Charlotte, became my mentor. And she told me one night, she said, I think I'd not refused to sing, but I'd been reluctant to sing at a dinner or something. She said, Davey, if you want to be a singer, you have to sing. And that made too much sense to me. So from that point, it was, yeah, this is what I want to do. And I'm very grateful to her because she was quite a guide.
How did Barcelona come onto your radar?
I lived in Paris for a year before Barcelona. So expensive there, I ended up travelling to Barcelona with a friend one time and said, this is better. People are warmer. I saw people embracing on the street, and I was like, this doesn't happen in Paris. And also it was cheaper and it was sunnier, and the Mediterranean lifestyle seemed to suit me.
Yeah, I mean, walking around the streets of Barcelona, it's almost every corner you turn, you will see people just hanging around, having the chats, laughing.
Yeah, and you see people embracing like that, and you'd swear they hadn't seen each other in 5 years. We probably saw each other 30 minutes ago. It's like, it's just, I guess it's what the climate does to them.
And did you move to Barcelona as a full-time musician? Like, this is the place where I'm going to do it?
I hadn't done it, but when I moved there 2.5 years ago, I moved there saying, right, this is all I'm going to do. I'm going to form a band to play my music, and that's what I've done, for the past 2.5 years.
Did it feel like the start of a new life? Was it that dramatic? It kind of feels like opening a door, going, this is my life now.
I guess it was that dramatic, yeah. I mean, I'd been playing around as well for a couple of years before that as well, but to actually make a decision like that, I know there's no going back now. And I'll be doing this in some form for the next however many years, yeah.
So how have these 2.5 years been? What have you done? What have you learned?
Well, the first few months, the intention was to set up a band, so because I knew nobody in the city, well, certainly as musicians, I had the pleasure to go around to jam sessions 3 or 4 or 5 nights a week, meet musicians. It was a bit like dating, because I was like trying to hook up with these musicians, and they'd reject me, or they say it's just not the right time for a relationship, or I like your music, but it's not my style. But eventually I found very good musicians and good people as well, people that I get on with, and I think that's maybe, well, I don't want to work with anyone I don't like. They've become friends as well.
But you had to push yourself out into the world and push yourself on people and
yeah, I do remember having that reluctance as going up to talk to a girl, it's not in a nightclub or something. I'd see them play and then I'd go and speak to them and say, I want to do this thing, do you want to come do it with me? I probably can't pay anything, but if you like the music, let's play.
When you zoom out from a distance, it's gone amazingly well. I mean, 2.5 years ago you moved to Barcelona. Now you've got an album you're just finishing the artwork for. You've got a record label that wants to release your music.
Yeah.
That's quite breakneck pace.
Well, I guess I've tried to organise my life in a way that this will become possible, and hopefully it continues in this vein, yeah.
What kind of life organisation do you mean when you say organise your life? What are you referring to?
Well, first and foremost, in terms of writing, that is the focus, and almost every day that I have to write. Then I've also played, that 2.5 years, I've played a lot of bad gigs and done the type of gig I never want to do again. Sometimes for money, sometimes just for experience, yeah. And then also meeting musicians, and you start to intersect with circles of people that can help you. You learn from them. They're doing similar things, and that you just suddenly start meeting in inverted commas, the right people.
And do you feel? Well, first off, I suppose what do you feel your purpose is as an artist? And secondly, how do you package that up and wrap it up and get it ready for the world?
The purpose is to record what I see and feel and think on a day-to-day basis, not necessarily to do with lyrics or music, but just writing down in my journal. And that gets filtered through and becomes songs, and then to play those songs for people. And I don't remember the second question.
How do you package yourself up? Do you, you're saying now, you're over the next few days you're going to meet your brother-in-law who's doing the artwork, and get yourself ready, productizing yourself as such.
I guess it comes with time, or just by doing it, and things begin to form themselves. And looking around the people, making it a sort of community thing, to the people that are in your life, and work with them as well. In terms of, if I'm going to make a video now soon for a song for the album, that friends or actors or someone who does the sound, or and yeah. It's also cheaper than just hiring some people to do it, and that there's more love involved in the projects as well. Then it's things sort of roll with that energy.
Do you have an awareness of what you want to put into the world, what you want to project onto the world, how you want people to feel after interacting with what it is you do?
After the music, I want them to see my world and hopefully feel something from it.
Take that song that you played. What was that? And that as an example.
Okay. That's a series of each verse, a series of different images and different places I've been. It's a journal, or it's a journal put into a song. Yeah.
My head nearly exploded when you used the word ISIS in the song, but then I realised it was a totally different reference.
Yeah. Actually, I never thought of that. Or maybe I did before, but yeah. Well, hopefully people will get the context. with Aphrodite as well.
Aphrodite maybe go, oh yeah, okay, that's the Isis he was
It's
talking about.
Aphrodite, Isis, and Danu. So sandwiched between those goddesses is another.
So Barcelona is like is paradise too strong a word? A paradise for you?
Nah, nowhere is paradise. You've still everybody, everybody's still got their shit to deal with, and it's like it doesn't matter if it's sunny and you've got a beach. It's like life's not that life's not that straightforward.
But would you swap Barcelona for Wexford?
When the plane landed today and I saw the floods of rain hitting the runway, I was like, welcome back.
Well, at least the sunny southeast, of course.
Yeah, but I think that's a fallacy.
There is something really special, though, about sunshine and sea. What is it? Like, why does it feel so good?
I guess because it is. You're so... Well, there's a relaxing quality to it, but there's also something frenetic about it, which you get here as well. Like as soon as the sun comes out, the like high energy, everybody goes to the beach. There's something of fire in that.
There's definitely a different pace, I think, in Barcelona than here. Would you agree?
People are quite relaxed, although initially going there I thought they were relaxed, but I spent March in Andalusia, and I was in Seville, Cadiz and Granada, and that's taken it to a whole nother level. Like 50% of people in Cadiz are on the dole, and they're so happy. Yeah, just like, life is great, let's chill out, let's have a whiskey and a sandwich at 8 in the morning, like, let's enjoy life. We may not have money, but who cares? Yeah, we can still enjoy it.
How does whiskey taste at 8 in the morning?
I didn't partake, I had coffee, like I couldn't believe it. You'd have Irish people calling these people alcoholics, but like they might not necessarily drink that much, but they'll have a beer early in the morning, or
Well, the statistics came out today of the top 10 drinking place in the world, and for men, Ireland isn't in it. But I was really surprised Portugal was number 2.
All right, I've never been there. No, yeah.
I was surprised. Irish women were number 7, but Irish men were not in the top 10.
Okay, well that is surprising, yeah. And where else was there?
Oh, like Eastern European places like Ukraine and...
Yeah, the Russians. I've met quite a few Russians in Barcelona recently, and they drink a lot. Like when they work hard, and like Mick Wallace said, they work hard and they play hard. Yeah. And it's all through the night, and it's like, where's the after party? Where's the house? Where's more drink and whatever else?
One thing that really, you said earlier, before we started recording, that since you moved to Barcelona, music has been your occupation. And for someone that has, came to this place, decided I'm going to be a musician, I've no fans, I've no following, I don't know if your songs were written. Like, some people would be happy if after a decade of playing music full time they got to the situation of being full time. How did you do it? How do you do it?
Well, it's what I really wanted to do, so that's why I did it. Or am doing it. Yeah. I don't know, I think that sort of thing for like why it's just something inside you. There's like you can do A, B and C, but I think the thing that propels most people is a force inside them. And yeah, if that's burning strong enough, then you'll meet the right people, and you'll be in the right place, and you'll get to where you're meant to be, I think. Yeah.
But do you attribute this force to anything? Because, some people would spend their lives agonizing about trying to live their lives a certain way or the way they want to live it. And you make it sound so easy.
It's not easy, and I had years of being lost to like traveling and not really sure what I wanted to do. But you just got to make a decision and go for it. Like, yeah.
So was it literally that moment in Tuscany where the woman said to you, if you're a singer, you need to sing? Was that the moment?
That might be like the most dramatic way of saying it. It's not that black and white, but yeah, that's like, yeah, pull up your socks and just do it. I think just, and it's not just for music, just like, just do it, like, and make mistakes and fail, but just go and do it, like, you know, because you don't, life is short, and like, you're not going to get another chance, and that's as cliche as it gets, but like, it is true, you know.
Would you say that in specific terms you have a long-term plan?
Well, I feel like I know what this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm learning in terms of like writing, whatever. I'm learning about only now really the sort of, well, this label world and like even booking and things like that. And that's something I'm still coming to terms with and trying to organize and plan better. Yeah.
But it seems like, I remember from like first year in secondary school, at the end of first year, you need to make your subject choices for the inter-cert as well as then the junior cert now, and your subject choices impacted on the courses you could do in college. So we were encouraged in first year to decide what course we want to do. So, it's subjects to do, and all the way through then college, career choices, lifestyle choices, settling down, getting a mortgage, having kids, like all these things from a very young age, from age 11 in my case, it's impressed upon you how important it is to do certain things at certain times.
Yeah, I think I felt that as well. Well, I mean, I followed that path as well and gone through university, and you're with your circle of friends, and maybe you finish university and people are moving on to the job stage, and if everyone is like, I don't know, if you've got your girlfriend and you've got your boyfriend and we're moving on step by step, they're following that path, I think that's a real pressure on people that some don't really realise until maybe they're 40 or something, and what have I been doing? Maybe not something I really enjoyed.
And is that how you felt along the way?
I saw it when I was in university and wanted to get out of it. Yeah, and I think that's what the travelling for a few years and working on farms, not spending any money really for months at a time was about. I volunteered on farms really, and they gave you bed and board.
Woofing.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
Did I pronounce it right?
Woof. There's more of a bark in it.
You're a woofer.
Yeah.
So as you woofed your way around the place, but it's interesting as well in a sense of, even though you were aware from college of what you didn't want, the length of time it took you to click into it. Do you ever look at that time and go, oh, if only I'd made my mind up quicker?
Yeah, I should have. Yeah, probably, yeah. In what I said before, just doing it, there was a little bit of, there was like an old life and a new life. There was a sort of transition period, yeah. And just, I think it's about committing to something, yeah.
I guess what I'm almost getting at is like notes and advice for younger self. If I could do it all over again, what would I do differently? And not in the case, I don't believe in regrets, but No,
I don't believe in regrets either. But yeah, I mean, then again, I mean, the life experience that I had, I think, feeds into what I'm doing now. So maybe I wouldn't have been able to do it then. I don't know.
As the guy in your Spanish record label said to you, your album isn't exactly overflowing with hit singles.
Yeah, he said it was conceptual, but I don't know. Yeah, there's not really radio songs on it, and they're like 7 and 6 minute long, you know. They probably won't be making it to Ibiza next summer. But sure, it's my music.
And what does the concept of a hit mean to you, and what is success?
Success would be to keep doing what I'm doing and play for more people, and I want to play concerts in Ireland and in other countries as well, so to play for people. That is success where I'm, and hopefully making money as well.
Well, it's kind of hard to doubt that you're going to get there because things seem to be working out.
Well, hopefully you're right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like in your own way, you are one hell of a go-getter.
I don't know.
I mean, again, as you're saying, moving to Barcelona 2.5 years ago, finding a band, making a record, getting a label. You know, that's... You've been...
But people are doing it here as well, aren't they? They're doing it everywhere, no?
They are, but, 2.5 years, that's pretty good clip, pretty good pace.
Okay, I'll take it, thank you, yeah.
No, definitely good pace. Not that it may, not that it's a race either,
Yeah.
No, and your music's great and people have got to hear something now and they'll get to hear more again and the album will be out imminently.
Yeah. Coming soon.
Watch this space. Davy, thank you so much for your time. And the bonfires will be lit now on the way to Wexford for you for your homecoming.
Yeah, not for the Pope.
Thanks a million, Davy.
Thank you.
Bye. Oh, sorry, you've been listening to Born Optimistic. Forgot to do my sign off. You've been listening to Born Optimistic, and there will be more next week. Thank you very much. Bye.
No. Aussie traveller lowers her lids to the vermouth sun, and her pale cheeks shift in shade and light to the eyes of at least one, while the band from the land of the long white cloud sings, read the gospel, I am ready to die, and the whole afternoon it's blue and crystal for those of us now and here abundantly alive. Well, many have set the world to rights atop a wobbling waxed bar stool. Oh, and many too before a glaring screen from the comfort of their living room. And many a maniac's monologue madness that was laced with larger truths, and I'm probably stuck somewhere between the three of those as I smoke my rollie and sip my vermouth. Well, the next morning of May, the Purple March moves her call towards the sea. When souls are stirred by injustice, bodies that can take to the streets, these women, girls, boys and men here nor feel a change, it is overdue, and so they're marching with the ghosts of Isis, Aphrodite and Danu. Well, young woman I love, nearly 25, you didn't know till now you'd lived in golden chains. But don't dwell on these defeats that we bring and bear. They may be deep, but they are just growing pains. And the truth, it may be hard to take, but the lie of a coward cuts far, far worse. And for my lack of tongue I have done wrong to others, and for others I have been hurt. Well, it's Euro Cinco, cry the men in the next Saturday May marketplace. I see sadness, resentment and some relief written behind almost every face. And on her chest the young mother bobs her baby, an ancient light brilliant in her eye. I do know that there is music to every manner of battle in this joyous feast of light. La da 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 da, la da da da, la